Good morning. We're here with Martin David Coetzee. He's Vice President of Moyo, which is a collaborating Andersen firm in South Africa. I'm Fernando Dávila Bond. I'm the leader of the Net Zero and Climate Assets offering here in Quito. And we're going to explain what we do with all our net zero efforts to turn them into climate assets. So we're here with Martin David, who's going to explain to us what is energy efficiency and why does it make sense economic-wise, and how to transform that effort into climate assets. So, Martin David, tell us what you do.
Fernando, so what we've seen over the last couple of years is a definite expression by C-suite leadership of companies that we serve to increase their EBITDA. And the question is always, where do we start to increase EBITDA and bring some sort of a relief to our clients? And it always starts by understanding the underlying data that basically governs and supports their businesses. So obviously efficiency is part of that, but the benefits are much broader than just efficiency. You've got the reduction in carbon footprint as well. You've got the reduction in potential breakdowns of production systems, and it all starts with data. And once you connect all of the dots, you are able to show your client where there's hidden EBITDA in their processes and how you can potentially recover that. We always say you need to start with the hard data first and then move on to the soft data. Now, what do I mean by hard data? People are accustomed to the fact that once you have a measurement from your plant, you can trust that variable. And what we say is you need to independently verify and scrutinize all of the data and information that you elicit from your plant and make sure it is prudent, it's correct, and it's sanitized. So we go through a very meticulous process to take a look at all of the data sets for our clients, specifically from a dark data perspective, to show our clients where there's hidden information that they are not using to make business decisions. To that end, IBM is estimating that 90% of all sensor and analog data is not being used by businesses to make business decisions. So that is a vast amount of potential data available to our clients that they are not using to make business decisions and to make their systems more efficient. And that's where they come in with dark data.
All right, so let me understand. People invest in gathering data, but 90% of that data is not used.
Correct. And there's various reasons for it. It could be because of legacy reasons. It could be that the client isn't trusting the quality of the data. It could be that it's trapped in silos. It could be paper-based. It could be lab reports that are independently run by various departments within the organization. So there's many reasons for data to be trapped and in a dark state. So what we say is the first step on this journey is always to understand all of your data sources and to go through a process to digitize it and make sure all of these structured or unstructured data sets can be ingested into
What would be structured and what would be unstructured?
So structured, it's there's a governed process where data is formally being consumed in an organization. At unstructured data sets is exactly the opposite. And that's usually where we find a lot of dark data. But conversely so as well, even with structured data sets, there's a tremendous amount of metadata in that field or in those specific domains. And we also see the value of scrutinizing those metadata as well, so from a dark data perspective, also a lot of value.
Am I accurate to say that the structure is that 10% that's being used and the 90% is unstructured, or we do have structured data that's not being used?
Great. So it could be 50-50 of those. Yes. So once we go through this process then of identifying the dark data sources, you go through a very specific process where you say you scrutinize the quality of the hard data. And once you've done that and you've got this soft data sets, that's really where our thermohydraulic team comes in to perform thermohydraulic models, and also place our client in a position where they can potentially infer certain variables in their system, basically data that they are not measuring. So it puts you in a position where you can actually yield or extract dark data and create new data sets to consume and provide you with insights on your process.
Things that I wasn't seeing before.
Correct.
Things that for example, the log on a machine, when it is start, when it's how much production of that, what's the daily production, when was it stopped for maintenance? All those logs are normally kept just to use on a daily basis, and you might go back to see what happened yesterday, but all those loggings that the companies do, is that the 90% that are not being used,
Exactly.
which you could recover and you take advantage.
That's correct, Fernando. So what it allows you to do is, dark data isn't just about efficiency, like I said, earlier there in the discussion. It's also about, rectifying potential breakdowns, increasing the uptime of the process. So aspects such as maintenance becomes really important, and a lot of times there's very good information contained in these maintenance logs that are usually, manual information that's entered into a log sheet. And what we then find is if we start comparing those data sets with other operational data, we see, but listen, the maintenance logs were actually starting to point, for instance, at the, soft food being presented by a pump. No, this is a emerging risk or a problem, tribology excursions as well. And these are usually, information that's captured manually, and it resides in the silo, and it's only the maintenance department that really cares about that. But as soon as you allow that data to be consumed for a broader audience, there's new insights that you can extract from your system to help you become more proactive instead of reactive.
Yeah, because I've seen in many industries, they complain, CFO complains, the CEO complains that you reached your peak production output in one day. Then the second day, the next day, you didn't. Then you peak again, and then you drop down. And there's a again. So, and they don't know why. And there's a conflict with the production and the C-level in the organization.
And that's exactly the question that the C-suite leadership asks. Now, how well are we doing today? Even if we are doing bad, we might actually be doing good. Now, so because of the fact that all of these systems are so integrated, small things such as a variation in weather conditions has an impact on your process, and people simply don't always have the data to understand that underlying mechanism. And there's obviously other like aspects at play as well. At the end of the day, you want to be able to measure your performance and how successful you are operating your business. And we found that dark data can be a very successful tool to achieve that. And once you do that, it basically enables you to pull the right levers in order to increase your EBITDA. But it all starts with the data and empowering a workforce with new insights into their systems and processes.
So, I don't want to sound good, but you go into a company that's been working for 6 years, 80 years, and you see they're financially sound and they're making a profit. The operations are really kept on a really tightly, and you go in and you say, okay, I can find inefficiencies. Is that not being a bit condescending? Is that not saying, all right, I'm going to find something that you don't know, although you've been here for 80 years?
No, that's a good question, and it's really important to take your client on this journey with you. So it's a crucial cornerstone of this whole approach. But, Fernando, where we start is to basically go to the first date that this particular plant or a manufacturer was commissioned to understand how the system was initially aired and designed to be operated, and how it should perform. So once we start with that as a baseline, we can, with the software tools that we have, introduce inefficiencies and constraints in their processing systems in order to have a reflection of the plant or the manufacturer for today. So it means we are able to tweak certain parameters in the plant in order to have a virtual representation or a digital twin of that plant. Now, these are insights that the workforce normally do not have at their disposal. So what we bring to the table is, yes, it might sound a little bit rude that we can come from the outside and just like shine a new light, but it's simply because we are experts in a very specific domain. And once we bring those insights to our clients, that the upside is just on the question.
Have you ever gone into a company that doesn't have any? It's very far fetched, but they don't have much information. Once you do that, because they don't have that 90% that they're not even using. That means it's literally not in six. It is.
And we do see that. So we do what we can with the information that we have. And in those instances, we keep things very basic. We also rely on the institutional knowledge of the people at those particular facilities, because there's dark data that they carry with them as well. So the focus becomes the person instead of the value in most of those cases.
So thank you very much, Martin David. It's been insightful. We've seen how we could go into a company, gather their data, structured or unstructured, and structure it, and for later on to be modeled, to find all the hidden efficiencies that the company has, and turn that into economic results.